request to invent an issue as a distraction from the 91 federal and state federal charges that Donald Trump faces now, his staggering civil court losses in New York now totaling more than $500 million, and his full-blown embrace and romance with authoritarian dictators and communist tyrants all over the world, from Viktor Orban in Hungary to Vladimir Putin in Russia, the former head of the KGB, to the communist dictator of North Korea. It's not, this, my friends, this is a memory test. But it's not a memory test for President Biden. It's a memory test for all of America.
That's us, guys. A memory test for all of us. That powerful, searing message from Congressman Jamie Raskin, we expect nothing less at this point, was earlier today at this hearing we've been talking about, at the questioning of Special Counsel Robert Hur, who investigated President Joe Biden's handling of classified documents. Congressman Raskin reminding all of us that while Republicans used today's hearing and Hur's report to attack Joe Biden on his age and his memory, the president's very likely opponent in the 2024 race is busy facing dozens of criminal charges and cozying up to dictators he seeks to emulate. Hur's report last night did not charge President Joe Biden with a crime, a stark contrast to the investigation into Trump's handling of classified documents. And Democrats today slammed the special counsel for how he characterized the president's memory in his report. Washington Post points out today that the release of the full Hur transcript shows this, quote, Biden doesn't come across as being as absent-minded as Hur has made him out to be. The full transcript provides a more complete window into the back and forth between the two men, in which Biden frequently joked with prosecutors in a setting that seemed more chummy than antagonistic. Joining our coverage, Congressman Dan Goldman of New York. Congressman, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Nicole.
You know, this is so interesting. I was out, and so I was catching little bits of news, probably more like people consume news than those of us who work in it. And I remember seeing Biden's response as a very quick, rapid response to Hur's characterization. No transcript was released, very much like the Mueller report came out. Bill Barr went out there before the report was out there. When I read the whole transcript, as I did when I was up in the wee hours this morning, it's clear why Biden felt so I think, betrayed by the characterization. How do you, though, in this era, get all of the nuance of the transcript out ahead of the smearing that Hur did with his characterization?
Well, look, I think that's part of the problem. And this also goes to the Attorney General, who ultimately did release the report and without the transcript. But it does confirm exactly what many of my Democratic colleagues on the Judiciary Committee pointed out today, and that I've been saying for a while, which is he cherry-picked information that was politically damaging to Joe Biden to include it in the report, and he left out contrary information from the transcript and from the interview that would have contradicted that conclusion. And for a prosecutor to actually say in an interview of a witness that you have a photographic memory, and then in a report to say that your memory lapses are so significant because of your age, is really, really misleading and devious. And I think it just underscores how political Mr. Hur was in drafting this report. And my colleague and former boss Adam Schiff pointed that out so well today in the hearing.
So you're describing Hur today as misleading and devious. Those are strong words. I just, in that spirit, I want to show you Ted Lieu's questioning of him, who seems to perhaps predicate his questioning on perhaps the same conclusion.
In your investigation, did you find that President Biden directed his lawyer to lie to the FBI?
We identified no such evidence.
Okay. Did you find that President Biden directed his lawyer to destroy classified documents?
No.
Did you find that President Biden directed his personal assistant to move boxes of documents to hide them from the FBI?
No.
Did you find that President Biden directed his personal assistant to delete security camera footage after the FBI asked for that footage?
No.
Did you find that President Biden showed a classified map related to an ongoing military operation to a campaign aide who did not have clearance?
No.
Did you find that President Biden engaged in a conspiracy to obstruct justice?
No.
did you find that President Biden engaged in a scheme to conceal?
No.
Each of the activities I just laid out describe what Donald Trump did in his willful mishandling of classified information and his criminal efforts to deceive the FBI.
If you saw Caitlin Collins' pretty masterful interview of witness number 5 in the Mar-a-Lago case, you saw that he described what the conversation was around the moving of the boxes containing state secrets at Mar-a-Lago. He said that what we talked about was that, we all did it. Biden did it. I mean, this effort, and anyone that participates in it, to make it sound like everybody does it, has damaging consequences for our state secrets. What are the national security implications of these two seemingly dueling investigations that Merrick Garland ordered into Biden and Trump?
Well, they're significant because what Donald Trump did, and I think Congressman Liu laid out the litany of things that he did very well, was so dangerous. And it is the fact of the obstruction and the knowingly and willful obstruction that can only be explained by the fact that he must have wanted those documents to do something with them. And if he did anything with those documents, he's violating the law, because certainly he's violating the law to have them, but to disseminate them. And if he knows they're classified material, which he clearly did by the fact of instruction, then he is trying to disseminate them illegally, and that endangers our national security. And if we're going to have this, everybody does it. Oh, Joe Biden had some classified information. Donald Trump had some classified information. It's all the same. This is just how it works. Mike Pence did too. Then we miss the point. And what was egregious about Donald Trump's conduct was not necessarily that there was classified information in his boxes that were probably packed by somebody else. That's bad, and we need to address that in Congress especially. But it's that he then learned of it, if he didn't know it already, and actively try to keep those documents. That's the national security, real national security risk. And that gets undermined by this false equivalency between Biden and Trump.
Dan, you were in the Justice Department for many years. What's the answer? How do we deal with this, the world we seem to be in, where the Attorney General feels like they have to have a Republican appointed as a special counsel to investigate a Republican, and a Republican appointed to investigate a Democrat? Doesn't that, to me, that always seems to buy into the idea that the special counsel can't act out of principle. And that seems to be, in some ways, the root cause of the problem, because it doesn't seem like a surprise that Rob Hur acted the way he did, given his history.
Well, to be clear, the reason is that Democrats broadly care very much about the separation of the DOJ and the White House, care very much about the rule of law, care very much about making sure that our criminal process is independent from politics. And so that is why Democratic attorneys general have appointed Republican special counsel. And that's confirmed that Republicans don't care about that, because they don't take those measures to try to boost the credibility to the extent that anyone thinks it's political. But, Andrew, I think the problem is even more than that, which is that since 2016, Donald Trump has politicized absolutely everything in our government. He has politicized the Department of Justice and our criminal process. He has politicized our intelligence and our intelligence community. And traditionally, those two entities within the executive branch have been apolitical, and very importantly so. But if you are going to politicize everything, then you are going to tarnish any form of objective, independent review, and that is what Donald Trump has inflicted on this country. And that's why I suspect Merrick Garland felt like he needed to appoint someone from a different party to investigate the president, to make sure that there can be no allegations, even though you're right that they're generally false, of any kind of political interference.
Makes you feel any better, I have already put evac on alert. He's ready to go if it comes to that. General, I can assure you.
General, let me into the war room to see you, so I had to hack my way onto this frequency. punching.
This better be critical, Wheelie.
Sir, come on, when is it not? Please. Okay, couple of things. I want to lower the double. I was thinking about taking a couple of months sick leave, maybe starting today. And, oh yeah. I intercepted a transmission from Megatron.
Then send it through.
Yes, sir, right away, sir. And so I'll assume that we're good on the other stuff.
This is your last warning, insects. Relinquish what remains of the Allspark.
So who's the insect? You? What? Who's the insect?
Protect you. They were defeated on our world, and we will defeat them here.
This was just a diversion. Security, make bring up. Rabbit, she's already inside. Deeds! Give me an update on that reserve. Boss readiness. What was his name? What was it?
Evac, sir.
Right, evac.
She's right in front.
We're facing a heavy sustained attack. They appear to be after the Allspark. General, watch out! General! Need the triple evac immediately. Evac everything. National security evacuation. Stand down. Check it out. The resist operations. The amateurs on a suicide mission.